evening all. I just wanted to do a quick update on how things are going with my modular system. So I've now added to it a filter, a voltage control filter, a voltage controlled amplifier, a VCA, and an ADSR envelope. You can see. I don't know what that sound is going on outside. I don't know whether you can hear that. Kind of sound like somebody doing an impression of a dog. I think there's been a bit of drinking going on today, which is unusual because the pubs are closed. Anyway, yeah, so they're all Doepfer modules. There's there's the A140 ADSR envelope generator, which is the vintage edition. There's the A106-5 SEM VCF and the A130 VCA, which is a linear VCA. Apparently there's an exponential VCA is also a thing. I don't know what the difference is. If you only want to watch this first 3 minutes, let me just zoom through some of the points. The USB to CV implementation is grand. It really generally does integrate into your DAW setup quite easily, really easily. That's been no hassle at all. So good stuff. Create Audio. I will show the inside of the case in this video, so you can have a look at that and the sort of flying bus boardy thing going on there. Installing new modules in that case has actually been fine. Working out with like the red being down and clipping that into the power supplies was fine, was easy actually. The depth is okay. Those Doepfer modules definitely fit. There's no issues with the depth there. I mean, Create Audio would be a bit dumb to create a really narrow kind of skiff and that couldn't take modules. But anyway, but the modules fit, so great. That chips module, I've mostly been playing with oscillator 1, I'll be honest. It's fine. I mean, it's definitely on the lo-fi side of things. It can be a bit crazy, but sort of with enough delay and reverb, it can actually sound fine. And of course, that's just oscillator 1. There's oscillator 2 also in there as well. But the really nice thing about chips is you know, if you don't use it for the oscillators, and it's got an LFO, low frequency oscillator, which obviously you can use for all kinds of things with the VCA or the envelope or the VCF. Okay, anyway, cheers folks. So the instruction to put the red down, it doesn't actually make sense because you can see that the red, you know, is pointing down, and also in the flying, well, it's a sort of flying, but these little sort of plastic things that actually, well, they'd come loose but they were sticky, so I've just restuck them down. So I guess it's a kind of flying bus board, but just stuck down with plastic, these plastic supports, which will open. Yeah, see, they're like sort of those clips that you put up to fasten your food bags. So, yeah, so red down, and you can see the red on the flying bus boardy thing, and that's red. It's already installed in the module, the little ribbon thing. So as you can see, this is an ADSR envelope. The Doepfer module, I'm probably not pronouncing that right. It's quite a deep module, and it actually it's hitting the other kind of like adapter that I've got here, so I've had to like leave a gap here, which is annoying. Those of you that like modular pros, you're probably laughing at this and going, you rookie error. But there we go. I mean, I'll just settle for getting these working and getting these plumbed in. Yeah, that's pretty much how I'd expect the filter to sound. gives us the LFO2 output in CV1, and I'm just clocking the cells with LFO1, which is set to the max rate. And the LFO is kind of, yes, just sending out randomness. And I can increase the release. Hours of fun. Alrighty, it's new module Saturday. We've got a couple of new modules to install into the little Nifty case there. But first, sort out what's going on here. We've got some wine, that's for later. We've got some Pringles, that's for later. We've got some coffee, that's for now. And we've got some mince pies, that's also for now. Right, let's stuff our faces and drink coffee and install modules. The first module we're putting in today is the Doepfer A130 linear VCA voltage controlled antelope. That is, I'm pretty sure that's let's get this out of my way, it's my coffee. Yeah, I'll put it by my feet, so I'll kick it over in about 5 minutes time. That's a great idea. These in the UK, these Doepfer modules can be picked up sort of, you know, between 60, 70, 80, 90 pounds. A friend of mine just the other day was evangelizing about the Behringer modules. Well, my experience in the UK is they're a little bit hard to get hold of. Obviously you could just, you know, put an order in at Foman and they'll be delivered, that's fine. But yeah, some of the suppliers that I would typically use in the UK, not so easy. But these, the Doepfer filter that I have currently is like grand, perfect. So there we go. I think these Doepfer modules have been around for like donkey's years, so they've probably like worked out all the little niggles and issues, and I think these are probably pretty solid. Good starter, learner modules, professional modules. I can see that the red stripe is already pointing down, and obviously this rib, I don't know whether you can see that. You have to trust me on that. Is it clearer there? So that's now upside down. I don't know whether you can see the red. So obviously it's upside down just to show you that red there. So obviously when it's sat in the module, the red will be down, which is what we want, apparently. Now that's important because that provides a voltage. So you don't want to blow the unit by obviously putting voltage somewhere where it shouldn't go. I'm such an expert. Okay, so we've got the VCA plumbed in. Let's ignore the envelope generator for the time being because that's difficult. So I'm using oscillator 1 that's coming from the DAW. Just shooting away there, just sending up a very simple few notes. And the main out then goes to the filter in, which I can control the level there. And then the output of the low pass, high pass out comes into the VCA line 1, and then out of audio out into the main out there. So that's all pretty simple, except we're using the LFO, which we're clocking from the DAW. Output 1 is going to CV in of the frequency, so we get a kind of wah-wah effect. Volume. So we can hear by adjusting the frequency. So that's cool. And then what we can do is we can patch out 2 of LFO, which I think is going either 4 times or 2 times faster than out 1. It's either 4 times or 2 times faster. We can put that into CV1 of the VCA. So it's obviously going to control how much volume is coming out, I think. So it's like a sort of like a tremolo effect. So we've got the 2 kinds of movement. We've got the movement being generated at the filter level and a bit of movement being generated at the VCA level. So that's cool. So the output on the VCA works nicely to sort of, you know, to mute it. But obviously we could also mute it from the filter, so the filter doesn't send any audio out, so that's handy. And we can also change the shape of the LFO. Bit of delay from the mixer. Something a bit more musical. And again, same setup over here. Got 2 LFOs, one controlling the filter, to the pointer, to the one controlling the VCA. And then we can play with the LFO control. For some fun. Or play with the oscillator. Bit more siny. Bit more squarey. Ooh, go into noisiness. Bit more squarey. Let's take it down. Cool. Okay, the next module is the Doepfer Vintage ADSR envelope. What's that? The A140-1 ADSR Vintage Edition. Some dude was selling 3 of these on a popular online auction site for, you know, really, screws, for a really good price, which he was selling as sort of new, unused. And because it's a vintage edition, it's a vintage edition. That sounds really desirable. That sounds like something I'd want. And the vintage edition is in lovely black. right around. Vintage black. Ooh, it's lovely. Yeah, that was a bargain actually. Let's get it plumbed in. Alrighty, so we've got the vintage edition ADSR envelope, just replaced for that older, or that previous ADSR envelope I had, which I have to confess I was having some issues triggering from the gate. It was a bit hit and miss, but now, yeah, we've got it. So we've got the gate one coming into the gate input of the envelope, and what we can see is every time there's a new note, we can see that's flashing to indicate the sort of the gate voltage. So great. Now we can't hear anything. Now why can't we hear anything? Because we've got the out of the envelope going into CV1 of the VCA. So what I think is going on is basically, because this is all closed down, it's basically not letting through anything. Although you can hear those pops. Right, hear that pop? Pop. Pop. So actually these are the notes, right, that I'm playing from my DAW. There we go, DAW. Pop. 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 Because essentially we've got the ADSR envelope fully closed. So if we start opening up this guy, we can start hearing those notes come through. And, you know, so that classic, as you might do for a sort of pad sound, where you want that to sort of the sound to open up really slowly, we can totally do that. So we can give a really slow attack. So we get that. Whoa. Hear that? And also we can have, again, for a paddy sound, you know, a nice long release. And obviously I've got some retrig. We've got another output. So I don't know whether that's just it just duplicates the output, which is kind of, if that's the case, that's kind of sexy, because I can have a second output going to my filter. So that's cool. And I've got an inverse output. I think that's basically in terms of voltage. So if that's putting out, you know, plus 10 volts or whatever, that'll be putting out minus 10 volts. So it'll be doing the inverse. I don't really know what that will do and how to use that. But there we go. It's all fine. It's all fine. And I don't know what the trig range is going to do. So there's some more playing there. But no, but first impressions are the envelope in conjunction with the VCA is doing exactly what I want it to do. Let's do something a bit more musical. Delay just makes everything much nicer. And of course we haven't got the I'm not using the reverb in this setup. Okay, final bit of patching before lunch. So we're using the oscillator one again. We are clocking the LFO from the sequencer. Output 1 is going to the filter. Output 2 is going to the ADSR envelope. The output of oscillator 1 goes into the filter. And then the output of the filter goes into the VCA, and I'm also going into CV2 from the first output of the ADSR. The second output of the ADSR is going to CV2 of the filter. Yeah, and then the main audio out to the audio out, and I don't know what's going on here. But this patch, what it's doing is when I stop the sequencer, the note isn't sustaining like that, like it normally does. So it's kind of acting now more like a typical synthesizer. So if I start my ARP going, hear that delay there.